Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of J Does Sports. Today we're going to go over the NBA lottery, Novak Djokovic taking one to the head, the NHL Playoffs over the weekend, and Rory winning the Wells Fargo Championship. But first, let's go over the NBA playoff games from the weekend. So first, for the NBA playoffs, both of the series that had a potential of becoming sweeps have been tied, with the Pacers and the Knicks, and the Wolves and the Nuggets. And for the Knicks series, I really think that's a big case of just Jalen Brunson cooling off. For the past series they had, he was averaging something like 38, maybe even like 40 points, and just absolutely tearing shit up. But with this past couple of games, he's had 18 and then I believe about 26 points, which on their own, like, that's good stats, but it's just not enough for the Knicks to keep winning. And I think unless he's able to pick that up to about the 34 or more point range, that they're going to end up losing the series. And then for the Wolves and the Nuggets, it's weird how both teams have been doing so well on the opposing team's home court. And Anthony Edwards still has been playing well. He played great this past game, getting 40 plus. I believe it was 44 points in their game, which ended up in a loss still. But that's got to be the most even game or series that's been part of the playoffs so far, and it's really exciting to watch with these calibers of players. But I still take the Wolves in that one, and with the Knicks series, I'm starting to think that the Pacers are going to take that one. With the teams that are playing their Game 4s tonight, I still think Boston will win. I think the Cleveland game was a fluke, same way it was with the Miami Heat beating them bad early on. But I still take Celtics as a whole for sure. Even without Kristaps Porzingis, they're still such a force to be reckoned with. And then Thunder and Mavericks. Mavericks are up. I get that they're looking good, right? And Luka Doncic isn't even having to put the team on his back or anything like that. However, I still think the Thunder come through. It's not looking good for the Thunder in the long run, though. It's seeming like they're being young and lack of experience, especially in the playoffs, is showing. So I think they'll make it past this round, but they won't go past the conference finals. Also with the NBA, the lottery was this past Sunday, getting everybody's draft picks in order. And number one will be the Atlanta Hawks. They only had like a 3% chance to get that, which, good for them, I guess. But the Detroit Pistons, sadly, they fell all the way to fifth. They had a 14% chance to get picked for first. And yeah, that does not bode well for them. I think the biggest news out of all of that, though, is the Spurs getting the fourth pick, just because with Victor Wembanyama, that's a hard name. I think they really just need a offensive scorer. He's locking down on defense. It is really funny to see these compilations of players coming down the court absolutely solo, maybe even 3v1, and it's just Victor Wembanyama just in the paint, and 99% of other guys, they would have gone for a layup or whatever it would be, and they opt to kick it out to somebody else just because Wembanyama is not there. Also, if you like tennis and if you hate Novak Djokovic, he took one to the face this past weekend. Watch this.
Novak, please. Please, Novak. Novak, please. Please, Novak. Yes! Fils de pute. C'est qui? Putain. C'est qui? Putain. Who's that?
That's gotta hurt. I've taken, metal objects to the face before, and back of the head. Does not feel great. And it does seem like at first that somebody might have thrown this at him, like maybe to sign it or something like that, or they just hate him. But it's come out that it actually just fell out of a fan's backpack, so there's no malice or whatever. And actually, the day after here, Novak Djokovic came to the stadium with the helmet on, which I think is really funny. And obviously, he's not taking it too seriously, but just kind of funny news to come out. On to the NHL playoffs. Two series have had their game fours already, with the Panthers being up on the Bruins 3-1 and the Rangers being up on the Canes 3-1. And with the way it's looking for the Bruins, I honestly didn't think that they would end up beating the Maple Leafs. So I'm going to have to go with the Predators. I didn't think that the Bruins are that good to begin with. So I'm going to stick with them. And then for the Rangers and the Hurricanes, I also got to take the Rangers in that. Both of them 3-1 series. Those are hard to lose to begin with. But I do think that those matchups, the teams that are winning, are the better teams. As for their Western Conference, they're the only teams that have only played 3 of their 7-game series, with the Dallas Stars being up on the Avalanche 2-1, and then the Canucks being up on the Oilers 2-1 as well. I still. As for the Western Conference, their teams have only played 3 of the 7-game series so far, with the Stars being up on the Avalanche 2-1 and the Canucks being up on the Oilers 2-1. For the Stars series, I still take them. I do believe that they're better than the Avalanche. They show more promise offensively and defensively. And I know that they have it in them to beat the Knights, who are the defending champions. So I got to give it to them. As for the Edmonton Oilers series, I'm sticking with them even though they are down 2-1. Their star power is just so crazy with Connor McDavid. And it's really just their offense can go off on a moment's notice, and it all kind of depends on their goalie, in my opinion. So I'm going to stick with the Oilers. In the PGA, Rory won the Wells Fargo Championship, coming from behind to beat Xander Schauffele. Xander had a great start to the week, shooting 7 under in the first round. However, Rory McIlroy was just so consistent and ended up shooting 6 under for his Sunday round. I think this is great for Rory McIlroy. I've always loved him as a player. Seems like a really down-to-earth guy. And I know that he was on the good side for the PGA LIV little feud. But I also want to say that he's definitely going to go down as a legend of golf, regardless if he wins another major or not. All this stuff that's been going on with PGA, he's been at the forefront of it, and he's really stuck up for them, even though he got stabbed in the back by the commissioner of the PGA. But that's another story for another time. I believe that if he goes the rest of his career without winning another major, he's definitely going to go down in the Golf Hall of Fame. That's without question for me. However, I think some of his legacy is going to be because of the politics that he's been a part of, as opposed to the majors he's won. I think the success he had as a young player was phenomenal. It was fun to watch. But I think he needs to get back on track to winning majors. I hope he can bring this sort of momentum into this next weekend at the PGA Championship in Valhalla. But yeah, you got to focus, lock in, man. Just get that major, another major under your belt. And I mean, I'm happy for you regardless, but get that shit in order. And finally, in NFL news, wide receiver Malik Nabers called off a bet with quarterback Jayden Daniels. They apparently had a $10,000 bet before getting drafted on who would win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Malik Nabers just coincidentally called it off after the first practice with Daniel Jones. I'm sure that has nothing to do with his capabilities. totally understand you, dude. I would not want to lose fucking 10 stacks over that, knowing that you can't do anything about your quarterback. I also think, yeah, Jayden Daniels does have tools around him that can make him successful. But yeah, he just, from the get-go, for Malik Nabers, seemed like he didn't want to be there. There was a thing of him coming to the New York Giants facility and just looking pissed that he's there. But yeah, sorry, bro. You don't get another 10 grand on top of what you're getting paid. And with that being said, that is the end of today's J Does Sports. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Please like if you enjoyed, comment for any other sports news that you'd like for me to cover, and please subscribe because we'd like to see you around here more often. I'll see y'all later.